World Blender 2025 is a new Blender add-on that basically turns Blender into a world-building toolkit, and the name says it all, I think. So if you've ever wished you could create entire landscapes in Blender without juggling multiple tools, this add-on might be the push that you need in your workflow. It is essentially an all-in-one landscape creation suite, which leverages Blender's geometry nodes and shader nodes to generate interesting detailed terrains from scratch. And you can do that within a single non-destructive workflow, so let's see what it actually offers. From what I can see, creating the base terrain is really easy with the foundational shaping tools. At its core is a fractal displacement engine that can produce all sorts of terrain forms: jagged young mountain peaks, soft rolling hills, cracked desert canyons, and so on. You can even bring your own artistic touch, like for example, sculpt a custom landmass, and then convert it into World Blender's landscape to apply artistic erosion and other procedural details on top. Once you have the base shape, it offers different options to refine it with geological detail. For example, it includes an advanced terracing system, which creates believable stepping formation in the terrain. You can choose the style that suits your scene best. For instance, you can do uniform, man-made looking terraces, which mimics natural rock layers, or even sharp cellular terraces, which can give kind of a sci-fi vibe. On top of this, the add-on gives you what it calls mask builders, basically procedural mask generators that let you control exactly and how different effects or materials are applied, without any tedious manual weight painting, which can be a time saver. And to make the landscape look natural, this tool has a built-in physically based erosion system. So instead of ending up with a static, unweathered mesh, you can simulate years of erosion on your terrain. It will carve out gullies, soften sharp ridges, and deposit sediment in valleys, just like real hydraulic or thermal weathering would. And the cool part is that this isn't just a visual effect. The erosion simulation actually generates data maps showing things like where dirt and sediment would be accumulated, the water would flow down the slopes, and which areas would have been most worn down. You can later use these maps to drive textures and other effects, so that the resulting landscape actually looks like it is telling a story. And it even goes further than that with dynamic weather simulation, because you can simulate precipitation and temperature effects on the terrain. In cold areas of the scene, water will freeze into snow, which realistically accumulates on gentle slopes and even forms avalanches down the steep hills. And in warm areas, rainfall will carve secondary channels and pull into rivers and lakes at the lowest points, which is really interesting. After shaping the terrain, it makes it easy to populate your world with vegetation, rocks, and other assets. The add-on comes with scattering tools that can distribute any custom objects, such as rocks, trees, debris, etc. across the landscape, with plenty of parameters to fine-tune density, scale, placement, and more. There are also quick scattering nodes specifically for adding high-quality trees and grass, which is super handy when you want to fill out forests or fields instantly without a lot of setup. And one standout feature in this department is the Infinite Forest system, which is basically a clever way to render fast forests that can stretch to the horizon using sprite-based fake trees. Now, all those terrain details and simulation data would normally be tricky to texture, but World Blender 2025 has you covered in this regard. It provides intelligent and automated texturing tools, including what is called quick shaders, which are essentially ready-made multi-layer materials that automatically utilize the terrain's data maps. Well, this means you can apply a material that knows how to put a rock on the steep cliffs, soil on flat areas, and snow on top of the mountains, and even adds wet-looking dirt where water would accumulate, all based on the data generated from your landscape shape and erosion simulation. To top it off, it also helps to set up the mood with a complete atmosphere and sky suite. So it includes a built-in volumetric clouds and fog shaders. You can easily add a low-layering morning mist or dramatic storm clouds swirling around the mountain peaks to add a nice touch. And the sky system is fully procedural as well. You have a sky component that lets you control everything from the sun's rise, in addition to color and brightness, to the sky's overall hue and intensity of the sunlight, which allows you to control different things, like the sunshine, midday, or golden hour lighting, for example. And there you have it, guys. If you are interested in this tool, you will find all the necessary links in the description. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to receive more news like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.